Morning, everyone. All righty. So we're going to continue on with our strength training this week. Hopefully you all pulled up okay last week. And we'll just go over a little bit of education here at the start. We'll then warm up and get into the session. So if you found that after last week's sessions you're a little bit sore, that may have been due to some of the concepts we're talking about with the DOMS, so the delayed onset of muscle soreness. And the concepts I spoke about was doing a little bit of stretching and making sure you have adequate recovery post-session. So stretching will help a little bit with that muscle tension and aid with the healing process. And then ensuring you get good nutrition and good sleep and hydration is very important, especially on average, it's very important, but especially following any form of exercise. In this circumstance, we are doing exercise that is, in a sense, catabolic. So it's going to break down your body slightly. We're putting little tears and stress on our muscles and our tissue. And then our body will recover from that and grow a bit stronger with our muscle fibers, potentially improve with our bone mineral density, and overall start to strengthen up our body. So good sleep, good hydration, and good nutrition is very important for that recovery process so that you keep your gains after doing strength training. All right, for today, you will need either a TheraBand or some weights, and make sure you have a water bottle handy just for when we have little rest periods. Alrighty. So to start off, we'll just stand up. So we're going to continue a similar warm-up I've been doing each Tuesday. So I'd like you to stand with your feet hip width apart. You're going to take a nice breath in. As you breathe in, if it feels comfortable, you're going to extend your arms, make your body nice and tall. And as you breathe out, just going to come down to a bit of a squat. So breathing in, breathing out. In, out. What we're aiming for here is coordinating our breath with the movement. So we're reaching the top of our inhale and the end of our exhale with our movements here. So inhaling, getting to the top, breathing all the air out by the time we get to the bottom, filling our lungs all the way up by the time we get to the top, breathing out as we get to the bottom. Tries, it's really nice movement because it helps to open up through our shoulders, wake up through our mid-back, allows us to sink into our squat and start to prep our hips, knees, ankles. And if you're doing that with some conscious breathing as well, you're linking up your respiratory system with movement. And good job. We're just going to move into some little marches now. As you're marching, try to stay pretty level through your hips and shoulders so they're not leaning side to side like so. Doing your best to stay level. Good. We're just going to place our hands there now as a bit of a marker and seeing if you can tap your hands with your knees. Good job. Now we're going to open up, or I guess the opposite, close off our hip a tiny bit. So we're going to aim to hit opposite hand with our knees. Getting a bit of action across the body. So we'll get some of our inner thigh muscles waking up and a little bit of our core muscles firing up. Good job. One more. Good work. I'm just going to step sideways now. Just give myself a little bit more room. And taking some nice side steps. Prepping our hips for lateral movements. You're feeling okay with this movement, you can try stepping and holding on one leg. So starting to wake up some of the balance centers of our body. Gauging your glute. Keeping those hips nice and level and still breathing throughout this. Ideally breathing through your nose. Doing well. Good job. We're going to come back to the middle now and go up onto our toes and down. If you can, try to hold for a second or so at the top. If that's feeling okay, you can do up and reach, back down. Raise and reach. So that's a bit of an extra challenge here. Try to still have that second or so at the top. Do your best to not let your ankles roll out to the side. Let's go for two more. One more. Good job. Moving into some bottom kicks. So keep your chest up, keep your tummy on. Try not to let your knees go forwards as we do this. Good job. Move into a little bit of extension of the hip now. So if you need to, you can use a chair or the wall for a bit of support, but basically, you're going to bend that knee and then just drive it forwards and backwards slightly. So as you drive it back, you're squeezing your bum. If you need to hold the wall, that's fine. Do your best to keep this alignment between your ribs and your hips. What I mean by that is not letting your lower back arch. So we're trying to make sure that the extension of the hip here, or the thigh I should say, is coming from the glute and the hamstring muscles. And we're not compensating by just using our lower back. That's feeling all right. We can switch legs now. Drive it back, wake up some of those glutes and hamstrings. So find that position where you can keep your body nice and tall. We're not slouching down, staying upright, shoulders back, driving forwards and backwards. Good job. Feet nice and wide. Feet slightly turned out. I'm going to bend one leg, sink into it, open up a bit through the inner thigh. Pull back together and switch. Together and switch. Work. Feeling okay with this? Try to make your feet a bit wider. See if you can sink into this a little bit more. Doing very well, everyone. Last one. Good. Coming back in. Bringing our arms by our side. Just going to raise them up all the way until they tap. Back down. And then we're going to push them out. Bring them back in, down, and repeat. As you're moving your arms, you want to think about what's happening with your shoulder blades. So for many of us, we can get a bit overactive in our neck. So as we're raising up here, see if you can keep your shoulder blades down a little bit so that you're not shrugging up around your ears too much. Let's go for one more rep. Nice job. Give your body a little bit of a shake off. Then we're going to get stuck into our movements. So for our first one, we're going to be working on a bit of a squat. And you can use your chair, if you like, to actually sit down physically on. Otherwise, you can just do it standing without the chair. I'm going to be using some dumbbells. If you don't have any dumbbells, you can wrap a TheraBand around your foot for some extra resistance. So we're basically going to work on a single leg squat. So I'm just going to grab a set of dumbbells here. And I'll show you from side on how we're doing it. So I'm going to start with my left leg as my main leg. My right leg is just going to sit back slightly. I'm basically bending down into a squat position and pushing back up. So we're really going to try to build a bit more strength through our body today. Now, if you have the balance for it, you can take this left leg off and just work on completely using just one leg. That might be quite hard at home. So otherwise, use your other foot, your right foot as a bit of a buffer, a bit of a training wheel here to take some weight to help keep your hips level, and keep your body feeling stable. All right, so we're going to keep going with that. We've done about 3 reps if you've been following along. We're going to aim for 10. So you're lowering down, driving back up, working at the level you can control. Some of you may not need weights at all for this. Just trying some single leg squats. A little bit of help from the other foot might be plenty to get those muscles working. So that's 10. I'm going to switch legs. Just going to face the camera now. So standing on your other leg, squatting down to where you can keep your bum back slightly and pushing back up. Notice that my torso gets quite diagonal, but it's staying straight. I'm not slouching. I'm keeping my back straight, keeping a little bit of engagement between my shoulder blades. One more. Nice job. Moving straight into our calf raises now. We're going to aim to do single leg. So again, same concept. You can take a bit of weight on the opposite foot to help you here. So in this circumstance, I'm doing most of the raise through my left foot. My right is helping. Or if you have the balance for it, just try some single legs completely. Try to make sure you're getting all the way to the top. So you may need to just use that other foot to help a little bit, to help balance you, get all the way to the top. One more. Switching sides. Raising up, controlling down. So with our strength training, we're aiming for roughly those 10 reps at a time. One more. Good job. The final one we're going to do is a bicep curl to a press. Now you can choose to do this just hip width apart, or if you want to continue challenging some of the stability of your hips and your balance, you can do it on one leg. I'm going to aim to curl and push up. If you're doing single leg, we're going to aim for 5 reps before we switch feet. If you're doing both legs, try to keep your knees a little bit soft. Keep your tummy slightly drawn in. If you're doing one leg, we're going to change it over now. If you're doing 2, we've got 5 more reps to go. Sometimes doing movements like this on one leg is really good to challenge how connected you're staying from your foot into your hip, into your trunk, and how much you're using momentum to do the movement. So ideally, we won't be using too much momentum. Sometimes if the weight's a bit too heavy, people will swing their body around. If you're doing it on one leg, you'll notice straight away if you're using momentum to help you. Nice job, everyone. You're going to have a good minute break now, so you can grab a drink. You can have a seat if you like, give your legs a bit of a rest. And then we'll be working through that trio again. So while I'm resting, I always like to do nice nasal breathing. Thinking about breathing in for a few seconds, holding for a couple of seconds, and then slowly breathing out. That can help to put our body back in a bit of a rest and digest state and recover energy a bit faster. So think about nice nasal breathing, breathing into your tummy, roughly 2/3 of your breath into the tummy, roughly 1/3 into the chest. Might go for a little bit longer than a minute because we didn't rest throughout that. All right, getting ready for your second round. Stay on this side first. So, getting your feet ready. Either one leg or back foot just softly on the ground. Lowering down into a squat, pushing back up. Two more. Good job. Switching sides. So you might find one side you're a bit more balanced than the other. So you may need to use your foot. It's a tiny bit of a training wheel there. Last two. Nice job, everyone. Getting ready for the calf raises. off we go. So either doing doubles or slightly offsetting it so one leg's working harder than the other. If you're doing both legs together, you're basically going to be going for 20 reps. Switching legs. Try to make sure your feet are quite close to each other and underneath your hips. Last 3. Work. Final movement, standing on one leg. Curl, keep your shoulders pinched down and together a little bit. Press. So if you have a band, only have a band at home, you may just want to do the bicep curls and just curl the heel with the band underneath your foot. Otherwise, just doing body weight is still going to be good for your body. Just may not be enough resistance to start building some strength. Nice job, switching sides. Last one. Good work. Let's go another good minute and a half rest. Take some nice breaths. Grab a quick drink if you like one. Have a seat if you like one. Legs might be starting to feel it. Breathing into your tummy. Got my hands on my tummy just so I can feel where I'm directing my breath. I want to make sure it's going down and out. Expanding roughly 360 degrees. So you're breathing into the front, into the sides, and into your back. All right, good job, everyone. Let's go for our last round. Now, we'll be running this program all of next year. So if you find the weights you have or you don't have any weights, I'd recommend trying to look at just buying a set of 2s, 3s, 4s, depending on your strength. Having a bit of an option there. So slightly lighter weights will be good for the shoulder work. And then slightly heavier ones is going to be good for training your legs and building more strength through them. All righty, let's go for our last round. So either soft foot or single leg. Going down, driving up. Last two. Job, switching legs. Last one. Nice job. Calf raises now. You can definitely use something to help you balance here. That's completely fine. Switching sides. Last one. Nice job. Final exercise. Either both legs or single. Curl. Press. Keep your shoulder blades drawn back. A little bit wide. Job. Switching legs. If you're going doubles, keep the doubles up. Last one. Good work, everyone. Grab a drink again. You feel you want one? Let's have a bit of a seat. Have a good rest. Hold on. So we've just worked through the quads, through our bottom, our calves, a little bit of our arms and our shoulders. I'm going to aim to do a bit more work like that. Working on about 3 muscle groups at a time, cycling through them, and then having a decent rest at the end. So, for our next 2 exercises, our next 3, sorry, you'll need, if you want a bit of a challenge, you'll need your weights again. Our first one we're going to do is one for our back. So you'll basically won't be on your chair, you'll be hinged forward slightly, and either without dumbbells or with some light dumbbells, you're going to be pulling out and drawing your shoulder blades together. I'll show you from side on. I sit forwards with a flat back, so I'm not like this. My back is flat, just to as far forward as you can comfortably go. Either holding your dumbbells or without any dumbbells. You have them by your side, and then you're pulling out, drawing your shoulder blades together. If you find that's a bit much, just doing a standard row by your side like so will be effective at working those mid-back muscles and really squeezing them on. All right, so you've already started, keep that going. Say we've done about 6. I'm going to turn back towards the mirror. I'll go for another 5. Squeezing our shoulder blades together. Shouldn't be feeling this too much in your neck. So make sure you're keeping your shoulder blades down. Good job. Have a little breather there. Our second movement is going to be a sit to stand, but a wide starting position with our feet. So open your feet out pretty wide. If you want an extra challenge, just hold your dumbbells together near your chest. And I'm going to push up, control down. Just tap your bum and come back up. So for this one, you're just holding the dumbbells on your chest. If you want to do a shoulder raise, you're welcome to. But yeah, adding in a little bit extra. Nice wide legs, squeeze. Control back down. Good work. One more. Good job. I'm going to stand all the way up. For our final movement, we're going to work on a bit of a hinge. So similar to the first exercise, you're going to aim to do this on one leg, and you can use your back foot as a bit of a buffer. The difference is this time we're going to sit our bum back a lot more before driving up. So what a full one will look like, if we don't use our leg for support, we're essentially aiming to do a single leg hinge and drive back up. For many of us, that is quite difficult. So having a bit of your foot down, even just sliding it back will help, and driving back up. And it should target a bit more through the hamstrings and the glutes. All right, so away we go trying that. You don't really need weights for this, but if you feel comfortable with your balance and strength, you can try some weights. You're moving into a bit of that hinge position, driving, back up. So again, if you find that you can't keep your leg off the ground, just keep it on the ground. Think about sitting your bum back. Trying not to put too much weight in this circumstance on my right foot, making my left leg and hamstrings take the grunt of the tension. Or if you're feeling confident with it, going into the full single. Good job, everyone. Let's switch legs. So aim for about 10 reps of this one as well. Good job. Have a little breather there. Oh, good. So let's have a good 1.5 minute break. About 90 seconds. If you want a drink, grab one. We'll be going again shortly. So if you haven't noticed, I'm up in the ante a little bit this week. Getting into some harder exercises. The benefit of doing single leg is that you have to essentially take much more of your body weight on one side of your body. And in doing so, it's going to put more weight and more tension through your muscles and allow you to build greater strength. The hard bit is that it often requires good balance and stability as well. So these little cues I'm giving you where you can use one foot to help take a bit of the weight is really useful to practice, because over time, you'll start getting stronger, you'll start getting more stable, and then you can work up to not having to use that opposite leg. And if you can do these movements without having to use your other leg, your strength and stability is going to get to a much higher level and will help carry over for when you're doing activities, obviously outside of this class. Anytime you need to lunge down, hinge down, or just be on one leg, being able to have that stability is very important for reducing your falls risks and improving your functional capacity. Alrighty, we're going to get back into it. So we'll grab our weights. We're seated and hinged forwards. So again, if you find your weights are a bit heavy, you can just do a standard row, squeezing your shoulder blades together. That might work better for some of you at home. Otherwise, we're doing the fly. Okay, so you want to stay quite, get as horizontal as you comfortably can with your back, and do your best to use those muscles of the shoulder blade to help out here. Think about slightly turning your hands out as you raise up. Good job. Coming into our wide stance, sit to stand. Holding your weights if you want an extra challenge. Pushing up. Back down, tap your bum and up. Last two. Good work. Final one. Single leg hinge. So again, our 3 levels. One is that you keep this foot down, just sit your bum back a bit and straighten up. Level 2 is that you slide and then come back up. 3 is that that foot stays off. So find what level you can do, and away we go. Last one. Switching legs. Working at your level. So you can keep that foot down. If you don't have the balance for this, I want you to be getting your bum back quite far. You may need to just keep this other foot down to help. That is not cheating. You need to work at the level you're at. Good work, everyone. 1.5 minutes of deep breaths. Drink if you'd like one. And after this, we've got one last round. And then we can all finish up and have a good break. You start thinking about what you're going to have for either a late brekkie or maybe an early lunch. So we've got 1 more minute for rest. So keep your breathing up. Almost there. All right. Start getting yourself set. Straighten out your back. And away we go. Keep in mind, none of these movements should be causing pain. Work. Moving into your squats. Nice wide legs. Standing up, sitting down. Good, last two. Nice job. All right, final one. Single leg hinges. Grip the ground. Stand back. Drive up. If you find that's quite hard to keep your balance, just keep your right foot on the ground. Last two. Switching legs. Last five. And the last one. Good work, everyone. Have a good drink. Have a breather. We're about finished. So, hopefully you felt okay through that. I'll just unmute. Let's see. Yeah, if you've got any feedback, you're more than happy to share with me now. There we go. But yeah, so following this, stretching straight after can be kind of good, but I like to give it a little bit of time. So maybe this afternoon or after lunch, just take your body through a few stretches where you're stretching out through your glutes. And you can do that by, if you're okay with YouTube, there's plenty of ones out there, but laying on your back or sitting on the chair and pulling your knee across will help with stretching out the glutes. Wanting to do that for around 45 seconds, just holding and breathing. The calf muscles, you can stretch them by having your foot up on a little edge or a step and just leaning forwards, or by using a wall, getting that leg back and really stretching through the back of the calf here. And then the other big muscle group we have work today is our quads. So just thinking about either having your foot up on a chair and straightening up, or if you can, grabbing it taking a few deep breaths and just letting your quads stretch out, holding for around that 45 seconds. Alrighty. Thank you all for joining. We're all finished, and hopefully I'll see you next week.
Yep. I won't be able to do on Thursday. I've got other appointments, but I'll see you again next Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Cheers, everyone.